Louise, it still looks better than me. I'm here with I'm here with my AirPods.
We got the
you're
shit
screwing up
going.
the curve, dude.
Did you watch that game? Did you watch finals? Can you hear me?
Uh, I lost you. All right, I think.
I can see you perfectly.
Okay, I can see you too. I think it's just my AirPods that are being weird.
You're too rich, bro. You got the wireless.
Man, what can I? I'm just trying to even it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Did you dude,
Were you,
CP3 couldn't get it done.
dude? Did you see what he did? Like the weakest move. He's just trying to like boost his stat line. He drives it at the last like 2 seconds. Like just to get those extra 2 points.
Yeah, we're
To get
down.
himself a 10 point. Stat line. It was like, hey, you're not even gonna take the three. You're not even gonna go for the three, dude. Like, and then they didn't even bother fouling after that inbound possession. I was like, that's so weak. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like you're just gonna go for the points after playing like dog shit the whole game. But man, I don't. I mean, it's a
exactly. So
It's
you
a
want,
series now. I'm happy about that. Like it would have been over if it was just 3-1. Go back to Phoenix.
I gotta, I gotta say the refs pissed me off though, man. Did you
Hmm.
see that? Like the Booker, he wasn't getting calls for any fouls. I mean, like the Drew Holiday first like steal, that was a foul. The second steal should have been a foul. He just
Hmm.
refused to call any of his six fouls.
Yeah, I didn't
I
even
don't know,
catch it,
man.
but
I was
someone tweeted that he like intentionally committed his sixth, and they just didn't
literally
even call it.
intentionally, and then the
Yeah,
refs didn't call it.
yeah, they just
Yeah,
didn't say anything.
yeah, that's like, and Booker was like such a stupid move, by the way. Like, why are you taking this intentional foul 2 minutes left? And then I think he realized it and just like ran away. He's like, oh, no one saw
It
it.
wasn't me. It wasn't
It's
me.
like,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I don't know what's going on in this replay. I was pushed.
yeah. So, bro, do you
I don't
you,
know,
you leave
dude.
for Europe though on Saturday? You're up on
Yeah, I'll be
Saturday?
out of these states, man. Yeah, I'm going on the European tour. And
Yeah,
you're coming back down to LA, huh?
yeah, same day. I'm going down the 17th, the day that you leave.
I had to escape you, dude. No offense, nothing personal, but once you come down, there's like a stench in the city that
I know,
just
man.
can't go, it just doesn't go away.
City can't handle the two of us. But so you said you're doing Spain. That's one of them.
Yeah, doing Spain, doing France, doing south of France, and then some Italy. Might go to I think Portofino or something like that. Get
Damn.
a nice culture on the trip.
Yeah, I mean, hit me up if you need Rex for Madrid, Italy. I was in Cinque Terre, those islands, man. It's
Oh,
they got those 5 different towns. It's a sight to see.
did you go to Ibiza?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No,
okay,
I was
gotcha.
a Barcelona Madrid guy. Barcelona. I mean, you said you might not hit that up. It depends.
Dude, I don't like that place because did I tell you this? My family was held gunpoint like 5 years ago in Barcelona. Yeah, at a park we were
Seriously?
walking. It was like at midnight. It was midnight. Yeah, but then this random guy, just approached us and just like took out a gun. I don't know, it was a real one. Thank God he didn't use it, but he asked
Yeah.
for our money and we just gave it to him.
Was he speaking
You don't want to.
Spanish or was he like a American dude or what
I
was the
think I
situation?
think he was speaking Spanish. I don't think an American guy could get a gun there,
Yeah, that's a good
man.
point.
That'd be
How would you get on the
what
flight? You just got that. Yeah, who dude?
he got like
If he had clear, then he'd just get right through.
yeah, he brought his toy gun with him and he's like trying to go to all these European joints. Get some euros. They have a better conversion rate.
But so you guys are just no Barcelona after that.
I don't know personally. So I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do like half of it by myself. But
Yeah,
I had an opportunity to go to Barcelona, but I was like, I'd rather go to Nice and Portofino. So,
yeah,
but Madrid is just as good as Barcelona. I don't know.
yeah. I think
Barcelona, you got the beaches and
yeah. I don't know. I was only in Madrid for a day, and we hit up the museums. We went out that night, but
one
Barcelona.
day.
Yeah, I'm biased because
Bro.
Barcelona, I was there for like 4 days and we stayed in this hostel that just had like it was like €7 for just unlimited paella and sangria. We were literally
Wait,
playing sangria pong. Instead of beer pong, it was with sangria.
unlimited paella and sangria for €7?
seven
Dude,
euros and people were just getting shit housed. Then you go to the bars, everyone's blacked at that point.
any chance the paella was actually good at all,
It
or
was
just
pretty low
was like,
qual, but
wait,
you know what? We did go out one night in when we were in Madrid. We had
you
paella
know,
and it was actually worth it. Like it was quality stuff. We actually, spent some dinero.
oh yeah, yeah, some pesos? Do they take pesos there? No, no,
I
no,
think
it's
it's
Mexico.
it's
Yeah,
euro.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
A
Some
little bit racist.
pesos. Yeah, it's not Tulum, but
No, no, no. It's Spain. But who knows, bro?
yeah, dude. I mean, Europe will be fun. I'll be kicking it in LA. Jake just texted me and he was like, "Hey, we got to hit the town." So,
Hey, I got a few recs for you. You gotta hit up Busby's. That's a new spot right now.
oh yeah, yeah.
It used to be pretty lame, but it's pretty good now. Busby's in Santa Monica. You gotta show up to 12:12.
Hmm.
Um, they said they're reopening the Victorian the way we know it. I think
Oh shit.
end of July. End of July they're reopening it. So you might be here for that. You
Oh,
gotta go in my you gotta go in my stead, bro, in my honor.
we gotta send it. Gotta. Have you met so and so? I'll do the Have you met Jake when we're there. Just try and meet some new women.
You got it, man. Three
Yeah.
photos of greatness.
Yeah. All right, Brody. Well, I've just been recording the whole thing. It's gonna be super casual. We're just going. But
Yeah, sure.
I had a couple notes. I had like stuff on the finals. We touched on your Europe trip. Touching on how we met. I mean, once again, like I don't know how many people are gonna end up listening to this. We're just for the folks listening. We're just going with the
Dude, you got it. Don't we have like a few thousand on the live stream right now?
we got a couple on the live stream. We got a couple on
Yeah,
the TikTok
yeah.
residuals. For every 1,000, I'll get maybe one sub on YouTube who will tune in. Um, and
Hey, by the way, speaking of TikTok, my friend made like $50 on TikTok just posting these past 2 weeks. Um, I'll tell
how
you the story. She has 40K followers, right? And then she didn't post for like 3 months because every time she posted, she was only getting 500 views, even though she had 40K followers. So then 3 months later, she just randomly posted. Her first video got 1 million views. And
wow,
it was like the same thing she was doing before. So I think the algorithm pumps you up if you haven't used the platform in a while. And then based on that like million views or whatever, like her count went from 40 to 100. And now she's back at like 500 views.
it went to 100K followers.
Yeah, yeah,
Holy
just from
shit.
40 to 100 based off that
Wow.
million viewer. And then, but now she's back at 500 views of video. So
Yeah.
she might have to go back on a hiatus for 3 months.
Dude, yeah, and not to get in the whole TikTok rabbit hole, but some of the apps seem so sketchy to me where like you do one video that pops off and just like the amount of followers that you get from one vid, you kind of
Yeah,
question the
man.
legitimacy of like, are these real people following me? Like,
Most likely not. Just
Is
kidding.
this a Chinese bot that's just, coming in here? Because I'll look through some of my
By the way, for our
followers
list
sometimes. But yeah, go for it.
for our listeners at home, our boy Mr. Alex here is TikTok famous, by the way,
Oh
for the
yeah.
record.
Oh yeah.
He's boasted an account over 60,000 followers. He has partnership agreements with Coca-Cola, Pepsi. So he has some pretty big things going for him.
We're balling, Brody. I actually did get hit up the other day by this company called Hype Flags. They do just like these comedy flags that say like Cosby's innocent or like the hoes are mad or something, and they like hit me up and were like, "We'll send you a flag if you promote it in your video."
Wow.
And so I'm like,
This
I haven't hit them back because they sent me a Google Doc with the terms and agreements, and it's not great. I don't know if they even want me to like blow up how
what's
much.
the pay? What's the pay, bro?
Yeah, it wasn't great. It was like 100K like if you get
Oh,
100K likes on a video, you
Oh
would
shit,
get you would
100K
get like
likes.
$100. That's like nothing. Do you know how hard that is to get 100,000
Yeah, hey,
views?
but you have like a lot of 100K likes. I mean, this guy, he isn't tuning his horn enough. He gets like 100K like every 3 videos, every 2 videos, right?
Yeah, bro, I don't want to jinx it.
Knock on, yeah, yeah, knock on wood.
The last few recently have just done super well. Yeah, keep those
And
fingers
keep,
crossed.
I got my,
Oh, you cut out.
you guys got,
What are we doing?
I'm crossing my toes
Oh,
too. So, I mean, everyone, we got a superstar on the line. Just want to make that clear,
make that clear.
to the folks at home. You
Yeah,
know,
but Brody,
you
I was
prefer to
gonna.
call yourself a content
Oh yeah,
Do you prefer to
content
call yourself
creator,
content creator, influencer? You know, what are you? You a creator, just an actor,
accountant.
comedian, accountant?
Yeah,
What's an
that's
accountant doing with all this as a content creator, man? You must be the most creative accountant I've ever met.
bro. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I remember you. I remember you. You texted me. You were like, "If you hit 100K, do you quit your job?" And dude, I literally, like, there's this one dude that I'll DM with. Maybe we talked about this last time, but there's this one dude that
Yeah,
I've DM'd who just hit 1 million, and he's like this comedy guy in New York. And I was like, dude, how is it for you? Like, do you do this full time? It's the guy
yeah.
Sam Swank I showed you, which shout out to Sam if he ever sees this somehow. But like, he does incredible skits where he plays multiple characters. He has like different costumes. He puts in hours of work for each vid, and he puts out
Dude.
at least one a day. I talked to him, and he still has a full-time job. Like, he's not even living off of the videos. And so hearing that, I'm like, all right, I got a ways to go before you could make some
Hey,
money.
no, this pod is gonna take you to the big time, man. This is
Oh
this is
yeah.
this is this is your golden ticket. Forget about that.
We get that Spotify money. I mean, Rogan got it. Did you see the Call Her Daddy girl got six
Dude,
million?
I know.
Yeah,
What do we gotta talk? What do we gotta do to get that type of money? Do we just gotta smoke weed on the show? Do we have to just talk about sex? Like, what do we?
yeah,
What's the deal?
yeah. DMT, drug trip, or
Yeah.
yeah, anal. But
We're halfway there.
yeah, yeah, we're getting there. But yeah,
Spotify sign us up.
yeah. But like I was gonna say before we went down the TikTok hole, this first bit, yeah. I mean, we don't even have a name for this shit yet, so I'll definitely
Well,
put this.
I got a good one.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
got a good name. The
yeah,
Big
yeah.
Four guy. The Big Four boys. The Big Four boys.
The big four boys. I like
I mean,
it. That would be funnier if we had two other guys, because it's
hey,
like the
that
big
would
four,
be good.
and then like we have four
Oh, that would
people.
be
That'd be
good.
like a
That would be
double
really.
double entendre. I think that is. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be
I
really
think
smart.
they're double meaning. Just, but yeah, that'd be clever. Maybe we get two producers and not pay them anything if we make it big, and just have four people.
Yeah, but did they have to be from the Big Four, or are we accept anyone from anywhere, as long as they're
Eh,
boys?
yeah, maybe just some boys. It'd be fun.
And
Yeah,
not to sound sexual, we're not looking for young boys at all. We're looking for
I'll take them.
you. I stand direct clear from this message.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
But yeah, no, I like that one. I'm thinking for the first step. I mean, I'll throw it up on my tube. Did you ever make a YouTube for your I bet you?
I made a YouTube for the other one for Seinfeld, and I got like 50
Oh,
subs.
oh, nice. Yeah, so we're in the kind of the same boat. I mean, we could both put it up. I don't. I mean, it's
Wait, how many
obviously
do you?
different.
Wait, let me see how much I have on YouTube. I think I have 50 subs. I don't do much on. Oh, I have 76, dude.
Oh, you have more than I do,
Whoa, what up, man?
bro. We put it on your channel. I don't know if they'd like
Yeah.
that. I don't know if they'd like that if it's just Seinfeld content and they just see two clowns talking about the NBA.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll like it, but hey, I'm down to put it at dude, 70
All right.
subs.
We can both put on our
Represent.
channels. But dude,
Yeah.
all right. So to get in, I don't know who's listening at this point, but talking about how we met. I mean, so I've known Alec here. How long has it been? I mean, we interned together, but we didn't really like meet and talk till
So our
January
first,
2019.
yeah, yeah, we
Yeah,
interned together, and then yeah, we started early, technically for our class.
yeah,
Started in January 2019. So By the way, this pod, we're going to be talking about, Big Four accounting. We're going to give you guys the lowdown, the deets, the juice, the gossip, whatever you guys want to hear.
Mhm.
We're mostly like a survival guide, the way Alex and I see it. But yeah, we met right before when in the beginning of busy season. We started in the beginning of busy season, and that's when we met, which was, by the way, absolute hell. But we'll get onto that maybe today or later episodes. Um, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, this pod will we'll jump around different topics. Like we were talking about you going to Europe. We were talking about the NBA, and I think we mentioned it kind of off air, but like we'll do different segments just so it can fit different people's scope. Like
Yeah.
obviously we have the Big Four experience, so that'll cater to people who are in college or and considering that path. But then if people just want to hear sports shit, then we'll clip that stuff it as well and have it be a separate thing too. But yeah, a couple different focuses, accounting being the
Jack of
overarching.
all trades right here.
Oh yeah,
Master of all, you know us.
master of all. So Brody, I was gonna ask you like even before we met, like even before you interned, like what was it that got you into accounting? Like what made
The
you say
money,
I'm
no
gonna
doubt,
study
man. The money, that like
cash?
$59,000 paycheck, that
Yeah,
is, can you believe that, dude? I mean, right out of college, 4 years paying like 60,000 a year, and then
yeah.
you graduate to work an 80-hour a week job, and then you get paid
Mhm.
$50,900. And if you do pretty good, are you listen to this? If you do
I'm
pretty
tuned
good
in.
your first year, you might get a 1,600. Did you hear what I just said? A $1,600 bonus if you
Whew.
successfully completed 80-hour weeks
Yes.
for about 2 seasons out of the year. So that would probably be 8 months. So, I mean,
Do that math. How much is that per hour? How many cents are we
uh,
talking? How many pennies are
um,
we talking for that bonus?
you're somewhere between a glorified cashier at McDonald's, which, by the way, I love. Thank you for working. I need my Big Macs. Like, I need them.
It's a hard
I
fucking
feel like
job, dude.
Yeah, I feel like a Starbucks worker, by the way. I can't even compare ourselves to a barista because they get great benefits. They get
Yeah.
stock options. They get to buy stock, Starbucks
Oh, that's
stock.
huge,
They get
actually. Yeah.
they put them through school. I think they get like $5,000 worth of school tuition every year. And I mean, free Starbucks. Can you
Free
compete with that?
coffee.
I mean,
Yeah.
we wouldn't
Hey,
even be able. When you have like we used to have a senior manager. His name is. We're not gonna give you his full name, but his initials were BD.
ED.
The goat, right? Rest in peace. I don't think he's in America anymore. I think they got him out, but he's still somewhere tormenting someone's life. But I think he was famous for refusing to the coffee runs, the lunches, the dinners, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He wanted to save the company, those extra cents. That was his claim to fame. So
Oh, yeah.
I, I don't know how many people here are familiar with Big Four, but typically you work 12-hour days, like at least during the busy season. Um, and one of the perks of that is they don't pay you overtime or anything like that, but you get dinner. So if you work over 10 hours, you're able to get dinner. What BD was famous for was he had a hard stop at 10 hours. He said, I'm not going to let you guys work over 10 hours, and therefore I'm not going to let you guys get dinner. Sounds good, right? Sound that look pretty good. Wow, this guy's not going to let us work over 10 hours. I mean, that's a good trade off. Problem
Yeah.
was, we worked over 10 hours. I think we
Oh,
worked even longer for this guy than a typical engagement, and we still got no dinner.
yeah. Yeah, well, that was and we're getting kind of in the details. I feel like we could do a full episode on like expenses. Like that could be just like a whole segment. But
Yeah.
there was we had this manager who just he had to cut costs. He had to make sure the budget was in line. And so he'd limit it to 10 hours, but it was 10 hours. It was like 10 at your client, but then you would go home, you'd have to make your own dinner and then you'd get back on and work. It's not like you were capped and done working after those 10.
Hey, by the way, yeah, we'll have an episode. We tried to speak out against this, and basically no one cares, but that's for another episode.
Yeah,
By the way, BD, he was doing this to become partner. Um,
yeah, that's a good point.
and
Yeah.
should we spoil? to them why what happened?
Yeah,
Should we
yeah,
give them the
go for
spoiler? He
it.
didn't. He didn't end up becoming partner. So just
That's
letting you
true.
guys know,
Yeah,
he
it
ended
was
up
a
becoming
year
partner
later.
in
Yeah,
some other company. They didn't promote him
yeah,
at US. So
that's a good point.
don't chintz out on your guys.
Yeah, yeah, dude, but
That's rule number one.
yeah, but so Alec, for the listeners at home, for anyone who's in college and they're like considering their major, I think for me it was I feel like I was such a sheep. Like I didn't really know what I wanted. Like I went to University of Oregon, so like it's
Go
University of
Ducks.
Nike, yeah, go Ducks, Phil Knight, shout out to Michael James, and we just like you go there, a lot of people go there just to study like sports business, like they want to work for Nike, they want to do some sort of marketing. So as a freshman, I mean, you're what, like 18, you don't know any better, you just don't, like, you're like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then maybe it was like sophomore year, I was kind of like, all right, it was at that point where I was approaching getting into the business school, because at U of O you're like pre-business, freshman, sophomore, and then
Uh,
you have to have like good enough prerequisite classes in your intro business classes to get into the actual business school. And
UCLA is like that too.
yeah,
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 stupid.
and so I was like, all right, well, I have to declare one of these. And my big brother in my fraternity was an accounting major. And he was like, yeah, man, like I think you have like it was a huge diss looking back. He's like, you've got the personality of an accountant. And so I was like, all right, Jesus.
At the time, you didn't think that was
And I was just
the
like, oh,
biggest
thank
insult I've ever heard.
I know. I was like, thanks, dude. And so I applied for that, or I mean, I
You got to face
declared
it for an
that shit.
account too.
Yeah, dude, I declared that shit. Also, the prereqs for accounting in our school were hard for a lot of people. I mean, if you studied, it wasn't hard, but so many people just, drank and, harassed women. And so I was like,
Not you though.
not me though. I was
You were
studying.
harassing those young boys.
Yeah, I was with the young men. But I was, no, I was putting in the work. So I did well at the prereqs, and I was like, all right, I'll study this, not having any idea what a real job, like a uh, real world job in accounting would look like. I was like, oh, the classes are fine. And so that was that's kind of why I leaned into it. You said it was the money for you. I knew you
Yeah.
paid well. That's a good point that you raised, though, that it is one of those jobs where it's like you just do, a 4-year major, and then immediately you're getting hired. Immediately you're making good money. There's other gigs like investment banking where you only do the 4 years and you make a ton, but that's like that's a way harder job to get, first of all. And I mean, we complain about hours. I feel like that's just a whole nother glass of
Oh yeah.
anal.
But it like triple of
Yeah.
what we were getting paid. But
Yeah,
I'll
that's
tell you this, like, um, yeah, Big Four accounting, it's prestigious enough and is pretty. Like you have an 80% chance of getting a job. I mean, I'm not going to try to undercut these Big Four firms like a lot of people don't, but if you have a solid GPA and you have some sort of personality, I'm not saying you have to be like Alex and I, which, amazing personalities, funny or
true.
whatever, but, half where we are, you don't have to worry about getting a job. It's more, it's just keep your grades up. I think like they look for what, a 3.3 GPA and above.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's the
Y-
hard cutoff.
That's the hard cutoff. Like to be safe, go do above 3.5. And then I mean, I think the hardest thing probably is just getting your foot in the door. So once you once beautiful,
Yeah.
by the way. Once you're there, once you get your foot in the door, I don't know, whichever way you find your connection, um, you,
Yeah.
it's not that hard to get hired. I mean, investment banking, on the other hand, it's like, you got it. There's like rounds of technical interviews, and you
Yeah.
need to know your stuff. Like
Yeah.
accounting, we didn't need to know our stuff, right?
No. Yeah.
We
I
didn't
mean,
need to know anything.
It was really weird. Like for me, so this is kind of a specific one. I might clip this separately just for people who are in one state studying accounting, but they're applying for some like an internship out of state. Because that's what I did.
Ah,
Because I was,
oh
yeah,
yeah.
because I was at University of Oregon applying for LA internships, and I actually did have to do some technical stuff, but it was very basic, like walk me through like a balance sheet or like an income statement or explain to me one of the cases you did in class. Like that was the extent of it. It was nothing near like an investment banking or consulting, like a Bain consulting interview. It was nothing like that.
Oh no, no. I've been in those interviews, and yeah, they're nothing like that. And for us, we didn't even have to interview towards like the later stage of our career. We interviewed, I think, sophomore year summer, and that was about it, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, to backtrack a little bit. So, I mean, we both decided we wanted to do accounting, and then it's such an early process. I mean, if you're someone who's in college right now and you're thinking about it, it's going to creep up sooner than you think because
Yeah,
it is so fast where they public accounting, the way it works is like the turnaround is insane. Like people are quitting. I don't know what the average career is in public accounting. It like 2 years. I don't know. So many people leave early.
honestly, that I wouldn't be shocked if it was that or less,
Yeah, and so many
especially
people
now.
leave. So many people leave that they're just like covering their own ass. They're like, we got to recruit kids and ensure that we have a new class coming in. So they recruit kids. Yeah, like you said, like end of sophomore year is when you're doing those interviews, which is really like the most important interview that you do because that gets you the summer leadership. And once
Exactly.
you have the summer leadership, then you're golden. I feel like that's
By
kind of
the way,
the thing you
the
need.
summer leaderships are like amazing. Like the internship's great, but the summer leadership, like right before it, really cool. I think like at our time, PwC sent us to where did they send us to Paramount? No, was that did they send
Universal.
us to Universal? Yeah, they sent us to
Yeah.
Universal. I think EY sent the people to maybe it was KPMG Disneyland. EY Deloitte gave everyone like Alexas, like the tablets or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I forget what EY did, to be honest. Or I think like some of them even fly out of state. Or Armanino saying it's Chicago.
Hmm.
Like
Well,
those summer
they
leaders.
flew me out of state. Like I was in Oregon that summer, and like I went
Oh
to
yeah.
LA for it. So yeah, I think because there were multiple markets, right, for the one we did. Because we both did the PwC LA one, and that was at the
Yeah.
Intercontinental Hotel.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah, that was really cool. And they put us up at the Intercontinental. The
yeah,
only weird thing is like they don't give you your own hotel room. And even when you
yeah,
get like hired full time, they won't give you your own hotel room, which I find kind of weird.
mhm,
But
yeah.
it's like students, it's cool. You're with your friends, interns, same thing. But then like once you're like in a full time workforce, it's kind of weird. You gotta like
Hmm.
like I think PwC has a policy where it's like what is it, managers and below have
I
to
heard
share.
that because I heard, yeah, imagine being a manager where you're like, 28 and you're just,
Sure.
snuggling up with a guy.
I know. And I knew two guys who did that, and they didn't mind it. He was like two seniors, right? And they were in Arizona, and I think they rented out like an Airbnb or something,
Hmm.
and they lived with each other during an entire busy season. I don't know if I'm
Oh,
for that.
wow.
I need a little bit of privacy.
Yeah.
But anyways, to get back on track, yeah, the SLPs, that's the key. And I think they open up like during your winter semester, winter quarter.
Yeah.
For UCLA, it's winter quarter. I know for other schools, it's like spring semester. Depends on
Hmm.
what you call it.
Yeah.
It's around March essentially. And yeah, it's like the way they look at it. I looked at it when I was at EY. Is pretty much, and this I think we should probably make a clip, is
Yeah.
first we want to get the guys who have 3.5 GPA and above, and we invite 90% of those folks over. I know a lot of people do like networking events. There's like Beta Alpha Psi, there's your Student Accounting Society, but pretty much if you have an econ major or an accounting major or accounting minor, and you're on track to get your CPA and you have a 3.5 GPA and you will get invited to a first round interview with most of the big four firms. The
Yeah.
second stage is the actual interview itself. And this one, it's weird. So they'll have a senior manager or even a partner interviewing you on your first round. And that's the experience I had for all the firms. And they're gonna just ask you behavioral questions. So it's weird when if you don't get called back because you're like, whoa, they don't like my personality. It's like, what the hell? Because they don't ask you anything like technical. There's really nothing that they can grade you that's like objective, right? It's also purely uh, subjective.
Yeah, they
So
just ask you about your hobbies, like hiking or orgies, like all the fun stuff you kind of do, free time.
yeah, exactly. You're hanging out with young boys. It's
Yeah,
just sorry, young men. Is that what you call
yeah, yeah,
them?
absolutely.
Yeah, they just ask you like what group you work, why you want to do accounting or stuff like that. Just like really boring, mundane questions. The questions they asked me, I think Alex touched on it, is okay, why accounting? Why this firm? And then tell me a situation where you worked at a group and it didn't work out. And I hate that question, by the way, but they always ask that. That question is like their favorite question. I don't know what they're looking for. Like, what you want someone to say, I worked with a group, I hated them, I didn't end up in it. It's like, I hate that question, but they always ask that question.
Yeah,
Um, and then, like, in terms of why this firm, I mean, it's a big four firm, I mean, but they want you to obviously brush up that answer. And then once you do that interview, I think 2 or 3 days later, they'll call you back for a second round interview. Then second round interviews with like the partner probably. For me, it was virtual. It was virtual for you too, right? Because you did
yeah,
PwC LA, or
yeah. That's it. Yeah, it was. It was a dude in tax. It was some Indian dude in tax who I just like hopped on with. That's like a
yeah,
whole
but
other funny story. But yeah, I did the first rounds were in person at U of O, just with like Portland PwC people, and
okay,
then
there you
yeah, and then the second was a LA.
go, virtual.
Yeah,
And then this is the funny thing. You don't know what you're going to be working in because you're too young to even know what audit or tax is. I mean, I know you think you've heard of tax, but it has nothing to do with the tax you've actually heard of or even think about. I mean, to be honest, I didn't know what audit was or what tax work was
yeah,
until I probably graduated. What's going on here?
yeah.
Like even during
Seriously.
my internship, I was like, "What? What's audit again? What are we supposed to do here?" Um,
Yeah,
if you don't get it, completely understandable. I didn't get it either. Um, just as a short summary, audit is basically you're trying to verify whatever the numbers the company said are accurate. Like if Apple said they made 100 billion in earnings, you want to actually prove that they did. And then taxes, pretty much Apple made 100 billion in income. How much in taxes do they owe?
yeah.
That's pretty much the extent of it. Anyways, I think we hit the grasp on the SLP interview, right?
Yeah, I think we hit the grasp. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think if there's anything else important. I mean that's a good point to bring up with like the audit or tax preference because they might try to ask you that early on what you prefer and I wouldn't really put a whole lot of thought into it. One thing I have noticed is that from my experience, like people in audit are the more social because you're on the client
Which is
side.
a weird to think
Yeah, yeah, which is weird to think. I mean,
because
accountants
audits.
in general aren't that social, but like, yeah, whereas with tax, you're just working within your team. It's still client based, but I feel like for the most part, you're within your team in the office. I don't know, for whatever reason, that's what I've noticed is that the less social do tax.
Here's the two biggest misconceptions you hear about audit and tax. Audit, when you say you work in audit, someone thinks you work at the IRS and you're going to audit them. And you're like, no, that has nothing to do with my job. And then the other biggest misconception is when you work in tax, oh, can you get my taxes done? Most of the people I know in tax can't get their own taxes done, let alone yours. So those are the biggest misconceptions, and they have nothing to do with audit and tax.
Yeah. But like I was gonna say, like for the SLP stuff, I mean they might try to get that out of you, but for me, even and for a lot of people that a lot of classmates that I was going through the interviews with is like for me it was yeah, sophomore year that we were doing these and then I didn't take an audit or tax class until I was like right before going into my internship. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I
No,
had
I didn't even take my audit class until like after my internship.
yeah, yeah, and so I wouldn't really stress about that if you're, you know, considering one or the other. I honestly, here's what I did, and I'm remembering this now, is I based it off of the people I met in both. Like people I met at the firm who were in
Oh, at the SLP, during the
yeah,
SLP.
yeah, and in the people that I, actually talked with and got along with, I noticed more of them were in audit. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna lean towards this just because I, you know, meshed well with them. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
By the way, Alex and I could tell you which one's the best one, audit versus tax, but we're going to do that in a future episode.
Oh yeah.
We're not going to tell you what it is right now, but we know what the answer is, by the way. We know, right? You know, I know.
Oh yeah.
So you're going to have to just tune in for next week when we do this again. Actually, I'll be in Europe next week, two weeks from now after I come back, and
We
we'll
should,
we'll be telling you we'll
yeah.
be telling you the secret sauce. We're going to be telling you what's going on and what to do, what not to do. Maybe advisories to play. We're going to tell you, aren't we?
Oh yeah. I mean, like a Ben and Jerry's that's indoors. We got that inside scoop. Um,
Yeah, we'll
but
even get you some juice. Um, did did we want to hit the segment fishbowl of the week? You
oh,
got that?
I don't have it pulled up. Do you have one real quick?
Yeah, yeah. Let me pull mine up right now.
Yeah. I can give a brief description of that too. I mean, for the folks at home who don't know what fishbowl is, if you're considering public accounting, then you got to tune
You definitely need fishbowl.
basically
Has
just an
anyone?
anonymous forum where employees, people going through internships, partners even can post on there about their work complaints or stuff that they're going through. Um,
It's basically like Reddit, but for accounting
yeah,
only, and it's like
yeah,
people are actually on this like 24/7. People are addicted. I don't know why, but like if you post the question on this, you'll literally get an answer in like within 5 to 10 minutes, and it's mostly 99% of the time sarcastic asshole. Like, just it's like, why are you answering my question if you're just gonna give me a sarcastic reply? Um, it's like one of the questions here. What are the hours like at PwC audit? And then some cure says great 20 to 30 hour weeks, and it's just like, that's bullshit. I hope it doesn't mislead anyone, but I think we're gonna take those questions. We're gonna take that question. What are the hours like at PwC during a busy season?
yeah. Was that the questions? It said during busy season. I thought he was just like out, like so vague, like
He,
hours. But
it was just like, does anyone know what the hours are like at PwC? It's
yeah,
it's even more vague question.
yeah. So I mean, busy season, it really depends. I mean, like for me, because we both started during busy season, and I don't really know if I could put like an exact number on the hours, but I just know that like for me, the first client I was on, I was working. So we both started, what was it, Alec? Like we started beginning.
January 3 or 4, something like that.
Yeah, and so we had training for like what, a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. I remember by mid-January, I was staffed on my client, and immediately I was working. You get in at 8:30, and we would leave at like 10 probably. That's probably, sometimes it was early,
Typical.
sometimes it was earlier, sometimes it was later, but that was the typical,
Yeah.
like 10 p.m.
What was the latest? What was the latest you stayed um at at your busy season client? Like latest time wise.
See,
I, I,
it's funny. Stayed at the client probably.
like started working, maybe start like latest you continued working.
Okay, I'll do both because like staying at the client, it was probably like 1:30 maybe. I know there were some people even on my engagement who were there till like 3 at certain moments. But for me, the latest I ever worked was it was March 2020. It was like the pandemic had hit, And it was those 2 first weeks when we were at home. It was the
Yeah.
busiest. It was the busiest 2 weeks of the year for the client that I'm on, and we were all just it night after night. We were working till like 2:33.
I think what PwC was doing during that time, they were trying to like jam pack all the revenue they could get because they were afraid that like all the books were gonna stop. That's what EY did anyways. Like they overworked team that month because they're like, there's no work after this. Like we need our money. We need our money. So, but
Right, but to get back to Homeboy's
yeah,
question, I mean, so I don't know, like you do the math on that, but you work from like 8:30 to like 10 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturday, honestly, I typically wouldn't have to work. I had some friends who had full,
nice.
full
High
day
five.
Saturdays. Yeah, we're fiving finger action. Um,
Colin.
but Saturdays I typically wouldn't have to work, and then Sundays, like this is going to sound weird, but my team didn't tell me I had to work, but I just knew like it was implied where it's like
Overachiever, folks.
you have,
Overachiever. This guy's an overachiever.
but you have so much to do that you're like, if I don't tackle this, like if I don't
Oh
tackle
man.
some of this now, to
Oh man.
Monday morning is going to be a nightmare. And so I would typically do, maybe like 3 hours on like a Sunday. In addition to that,
Oh my god.
8:30 to 10
Oh man.
p.m. Monday through Friday.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And
But
that's why I couldn't last a year in
yeah.
audit.
So
Oh
but to give the guy who asked the question, to give him a timeline, that was like what, mid-January through probably like end of April, I want to say. And some people it goes later. I was lucky where I got put on we're getting too in the details now, but I was put on to like a planning client where it was basically way more chill.
wow,
Started.
man,
But
lucky.
so that was like 4 months though, like 3.5, 4 months of like working like that. And some of those months were more hectic than others. It really varies. And to continue with this dude's question, you get to the summertime and it's chill. It's like a 9 to 5, which is funny because you feel so spoiled in that moment. And then you realize, oh, wait, every other person who works a job does this year round. And you feel so lucky to just leave at 5. Meanwhile, so many people do this year round, like I just said. But
Here,
so it's chill
here's
in the summer.
Very good question. Here's another one that just came in from a senior audit associate. And he said, what's the thing you value most about your current firm? I'm going to tell you the answers.
Yeah.
Okay, first answer, a paycheck. Second answer, the name on my resume. And then after that, it gets a little more serious, which we care about. But they said flexibility, work from anywhere, um, and growth. Do you agree with that? The thing you
Yeah.
most value about your current firm?
So what was the order?
Flexibility,
What was the order?
growth.
Money was first, and then
Money was first, name on my resume was second,
yeah,
and then third was flexibility, work from anywhere, and then growth opportunities.
I like that list. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I think that's right. Uh, Here, we got another one from this guy. Pretty funny. My team can send all the emails they want, but I am not working a single minute after this point. Just for the record, it's 9:30 Pacific Standard Time, midnight Eastern Standard Time. We're totally with you. This guy who works at EY, um, do not work,
yeah.
do not work a single minute after this
Yeah.
break, after this
That's one of
time.
the things too where like I feel like we've said this a couple times throughout this, recording, but I think there's really a full ep we could do on like being the first year associate where you feel like you have to answer everything instantly, and you're like, if I ignore my manager, if I ignore this 10 p.m. email, I'm screwed. Like you think everything is such a big deal when in reality
Oh,
it isn't.
the most important thing is like awkwardly laughing at something not funny the partner says that they find funny. It's a skill you gotta develop I really don't have this skill, but like the partner will make like a really awkward joke like the first time you meet them. I don't know, they're trying to break the ice or something. They're in like their 50s, and it just has no place. Like probably something about like dating, like I don't know,
Yeah.
just an awkward awkward thing, right? And then they think they're like the cool partner, right? For those types of partners, just laugh with them. I don't know. Try to hit them back with some sort of joke. I mean, I know it's hard, so just laugh at their jokes, however awkward they can be.
I gotta say that's the hardest type of humor is office humor
Yeah,
when you're with people who are way older than you, and it's like I gotta try and make a joke here, but my type of humor I would get fired because I would just be like, hey Leslie, like, how's that ass feeling or something, and I would just get canned. And so you're just like, all right, I got it.
by the way, I don't think humor is different. I think your humor is just it's a different level. Maybe your humor is closer to the partners like 50 years ago. Maybe you should get along with.
I just know that if I said that, it'd be over.
You think, huh? I
May-
don't know.
Maybe.
You want to test it out? Do it on a video for the show.
Oh yeah. Oh, I could record it and then send this to so and
To
so.
the show. Yeah, this would be great, right?
Yeah. Have them cheat.
Uh,
Dude.
uh,
Okay. So all right. So for people tuned in about accounting, I mean, we've touched on like the SLP stuff, where yeah, that really is like the biggest hurdle, and it's so funny because it's so early on. Like you just have no idea like what you really want to do for a career. You're like, all right, I guess I'll do accounting, and they're already just like, all right, we're sucking you into this firm.
yeah, yeah. I feel it's. I mean, I could tell you guys my experience. Um, uh, the SLP is great. I mean, take advantage of the SLP and the internship. They're probably the two of the best programs and the best time you'll work at public accounting firms. Most of my friends I met during the internship. I mean, Alex and I really connected like when we started, but I met him technically through the internship, and we had that like sort of bond. I knew him through Drew or whatever it was, and I was
Yeah,
like, yeah, I know this guy, right? And like same with a bunch of other people. And like when you go to another firm later on in your life, which you will, it'll be weird because you won't have that group, right? Like that those group of guys or girls or
yeah.
whatever that you know from your internship, because I'm telling you, that's the best time. And we're going to talk more about your internship and what it entails probably in a future episode. But the SLP is good. The only thing about the SLP that people are afraid of is they kind of get competitive during the SLP because they think that there's only a limited number of slots. It's not true. It's like 98% acceptance from the SLP. Again, Alex and I were when once we were hired associates and went to seniors, went to these SLPs to talk with the candidates, and we know exactly how it is. Like, it's pretty much okay. If this guy's a creep, or we're not hiring him. Like, you have to be a creep. Like, even the creeps, by the way, get hired. It's just we need heads.
Yeah.
It's really hard once you get there. Once you somehow fooled enough people to get to this SLP, you're like pretty much a lock. The only time I've heard of people not getting it is when if they drank, because most SLPers are not 21 and got drunk and should face at the party. That's like a liability issue or whatever. And then depending on the part, I heard that like they just don't offer you the position, and I get that. That's when you're in SLP, because when you're in SLP, you're only like 19 or 20,
Yeah.
right? And you're not 21, and I don't think the firm wants the liability. Other times I've heard people not getting it is this is during the SLP. It's just like I said, it's very hard not to get it from the SLP. Like once you get the SLP, you're a lock. But tips on how to get the SLP: maintain the 3.5 GPA. And if you don't have that 3.5 GPA, you do need to join a group like Beta Alpha Psi or like the Student Accounting Society or something, and you do need to like email and be proactive with all these people. I wasn't, because I was lucky my GPA was above a 3.5 and I got all these opportunities. But my friend who had like a 3.1, who normally would never have been considered for any of these opportunities, he was on top of his game. He went to all the events, the coffee chats, this, that, the other, emailing this like the manager, the senior manager, the HR. The HR recruiter is the most important person to email because they're the ones who decide if you're getting in or not. Like the partner is not, like, unless you're like the partner explicitly knows you, the
Mm-hmm.
partner's not going to vouch for this random kid he doesn't know if he's going to apply or not. Like, I know you want to schmooze with the big shots, but the number one person to schmooze with is the HR recruiter. They have like 90% of the power. So be their best friend, get them coffee, whatever it is. And these are for my folks below 3.5. Above 3.5, you're good. Just
Yeah.
don't be a creep for the interview.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good point too. I mean, it is funny because they have so many resumes to look through that obviously they're just gonna look at that top, like that number. Yeah, if they see below 3.3, they're like, who knows? But
Yeah.
involvement is also important, and I'll touch on that because I think it did kind of save me in some of the later stages of the interview. Like that's not to say that I probably wouldn't have gotten it regardless, but if you can be a part of a group that actually does like tangible work, and I'm probably going to bore the audience here, but I was a part of this like legit consulting group when I was at Oregon where
Wow, show off here.
we would
Go
do
Ducks.
go Ducks, baby. We would do like marketing projects, or we do data analysis for local companies in Eugene, and it's Eugene, Oregon. So these are billionaires, and so we would do these projects.
Wait, are there billionaires in Eugene, Oregon?
No. Besides Philadelphia,
Sorry,
um,
just didn't get on the sarcasm.
we would do these projects, and I could just speak to it in interviews. Like they would be like, tell me about a time you worked on this, and it goes back to your like, behavioral questions. But it's important to have those experiences thought out, like have those stories thought out, just so I know that they're bullshit questions. Like I know that it's just a box checked for the recruiter or the person interviewing you, but they
Yeah.
still want to make sure that you have something to say. If you're there and you're taking like a full minute to be like, I don't know, like what, I haven't really,
Why do
experienced.
you like accounting? Don't say it's the money. Please don't say it's the money. If you ever answer, oh yeah, I heard partner makes 750K, you will not get a job. That's one of the times that like during the interview you never bring up the money. I mean, even like however important it is, don't bring it up. It's just
Right.
not right.
Right. And
No.
yeah, I think that like the normal, societal social cues, like you don't ask people about money really. Like just in your daily life, like you wouldn't really ask your friend's parent how much they make. And so yeah, the same thing obviously is going to apply to being in an interview where you're just like, yeah, man, so what kind of car you got? No, you ask about the firm, you ask about, you
Your
know,
partner in driving a Toyota? Huh, is everything okay there? Are you
yeah,
divorced or something?
got a camera. Yeah, what happened? Um, yeah, dude, but I don't know. I feel like we've kind of gone all over with like the SLPs, but just in terms of interview stuff, I think it'd be good real quick just to touch on some of those things. I obviously like the confidence factor, like having your examples for the behavioral interview stuff, and the thing is to just be natural with it. Like the funniest, I have a really funny quick story here about a dude who would like memorize responses to behavioral questions, and he would talk like a speech. Like he would print out like 50 questions that EY might ask, and he would recite it to a T. And
Yeah,
he ended up not getting a few of them. He actually did end up getting one of them. I won't say anything more, but like he
KPMG.
yeah, yeah,
Just kidding.
lower
We
two.
love you, KPMG guys.
But he dude, he would like memorize it. I'm like, bro, just go in there and answer, like have a conversation, because that's what it is at the end of the day. And especially talking to like an HR recruiter who's a social person, they just, not to sound, weird, but they just want to see if you can vibe. If they want to see if you can
or
get
hold a conversation for like 2 minutes.
seriously, yeah, and we touched on it before. They don't expect you to know technical stuff. You're a fucking sophomore who has, never worked a legit job. So they don't expect you to know your stuff.
Between you and me, you don't have to be a genius to be an accountant. I mean, pretty much what they're looking for is, if I'm in a conference room, a tiny conference room with this guy for 12 hours straight, 5 days a week, will I want to shoot myself, or will I want to shoot him?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what they're looking for. If you could hold a conversation and you're not too much of a douche, or you're not too much of a non-talker, you got a gig. Like,
Mm.
I mean, I've seen it even at small firms. I was part of the interview process for like a mid-tier, like I don't know if you guys have heard about, like, maybe Cone Resnick or something like that, or Grant Thornton. I
Mhm.
mean, there were some very qualified people that they turned down because either they were non-talkative, like just couldn't hold a conversation, or they were the other spectrum of it, and they were like, "Dude, what's up? When do we finish work here?" It's like, "Dude," it's like, those guys who say "dude" or whatever
Yeah,
to
they're
like,
just being truly during the day.
don't say "dude" during an interview, whatever. Try to just keep yourself, hold it back for 30 minutes. I know you want to say bro or brody, but just for 30 minutes, hold off.
It's funny 'cause we couldn't go a minute today without me saying Brody, but it's all good.
That's
We're past that.
I can't go a second without it, Brody.
Yeah, we at least have the time and place down. We know not to do that in the work.
We got the gigs, man. We got the gigs. Now it's your turn,
Hell yeah.
folks.
All right, dude. Well, yeah, I think this was good. I feel like just us talking about it, this sparked for me like 6 different episode ideas just from us
Yeah.
talking. Like we kind of touched on
Oh, yeah.
nuggets. I think it was helpful for folks to hear about, our SLP stuff. But yeah, I think when we dive into some other topics, like whether it's audit versus tax or whether it's the internship, yeah, we can just have like a specific thing and then go deep into detail with like some of our own.
We're gonna do details like, should you start in January, or should you start in September? When should you start studying for the CPA? We're gonna get into all of this stuff. It In a way, it's gonna be like a Big Four survival guide, but we're gonna be talking, like Alex said, about a lot of other stuff. We might talk about the NBA finals. We'll
Yeah.
never talk about baseball. Just putting that out there. Just baseball sucks. We'll probably talk about football, college football. You know, if there's the Oscars going on, we'll watch
Talk
them.
about
A big film. What is that?
let's talk about women. No, I'm just
Yeah, yeah.
saying we'll talk about whatever. But yeah,
We're
dude.
gonna talk about whatever. We're gonna talk about our trips, and we're just gonna have a good time. And while we're having a good time, we're gonna tell you how to survive the Big Four and how to get a job at the Big Four. That's as simple as that.
Fuck yeah. All right, dude.
Good.
Well, I'll appreciate everyone for tuning in. I'm gonna stop the recording and then we can chat real quick.
Yeah, we could